All right, so today we're diving deep into some pretty wild stuff that went down over at OpenAI back in 2023. The whole Sam Altman getting fired thing. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
So we've got these excerpts from this book coming out, The Optimist by Keach Hagee, and it's spilling all the tea on what supposedly happened behind closed doors and what really went down.
Exactly. Getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, and I think this is super important to understand, not just for the gossip factor, but because it kind of reveals like the inner workings of one of the most important AI companies out there, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to try to figure out why Altman got the boot, what everyone's reaction was, and then what this whole thing tells us about, the big picture of AI.
The future of AI, for sure.
So right off the bat, the OpenAI board fires their CEO, Sam Altman. Like, that's a huge move, right?
Yeah, it's not something you see every day, especially with someone like Altman. I mean, he was a driving force behind OpenAI.
So what does the book say about why they actually fired him?
Well, what's interesting is that the book claims that it wasn't just like a spur-of-the-moment decision. It wasn't a heat-of-the-moment kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hagee's reporting points to accusations of like toxic behavior thrown around and even potential embezzlement. And this is supposedly connected to the OpenAI startup fund, which, Altman himself controlled.
So right off the bat, we're talking about some pretty serious accusations, toxic behavior and embezzlement.
Right. And that suggests that there were probably some, deeper issues going on behind the scenes, maybe with how things were being run.
Absolutely. So let's break this down a bit. Toxic behavior can mean a lot of things, especially in a high-pressure environment like a startup. What specifics does the book actually give us about what Altman was supposedly doing, and how does that tie into the whole embezzlement thing?
Yeah, that's the thing. The excerpt we have doesn't really dive deep into specifics on the toxic behavior.
Hmm.
It more so alludes to like a power struggle happening within OpenAI.
Yeah.
And possibly some outside pressure from lobbyists. But again, not a ton of details there.
Yeah. Okay. But before all this went down, Altman actually said on Bloomberg TV, and I quote, "The board can fire me. That's important," end quote. It's like he almost knew this was a possibility, right?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting looking back on that statement. It kind of implies that he was aware of the board's power and maybe even sensed some tension there.
Foreshadowing.
Right.
So what was like the final straw, the thing that actually triggered the firing?
Okay, so the book highlights this specific incident where Altman claims that the legal
To listen to the full podcast episode, please follow the link in the description. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.